Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna look at GBP JPY, and we're going to look at what is going on in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, month and a half, I'd say. Okay, so we would start by looking at a higher time frame, which is either the week or the day chart. The day time frame, and we try and identify our supports and resistance. So our support our support would be down here, this area right here. This would be our support. This would be a higher high, and this would be a resistance. And we also should identify that our resistance fall on a important number. So I'm not saying it right, but I'll describe it. An important number would be like a solid number, like 2,000, 10,000, like, like solid numbers are key numbers in the market. So this kind of trading I'm describing is price action when you focus on the price over here in the corner, right here, two 200 solid. Uh, I could make it to closer to 200 flat, and you would see the closer we get to 200, the more flat, the more the market actually rejects from this area. And so now that we have marked out our support and resistance, we can identify that the market has been consolidating in this area for some time now, close possibly for the since the whole duration of the year. And then now we're going to the daytime frame to see what is going on. So as I said before, support, resistance, consolidation area. Normally the market has a tendency to go from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, and then go back down to or support and test again and potentially go back up because these are major levels. So it was touched once, and this is the second time it's really being touched. Actually, we should actually make it like this. So one, two, three, four. So it's really been touched like 3 times. So we'd count it off like one time, 2 time, and I'd count this as 3 times because you can notice from here to here is one connection from the support to resistance. From here to here, it's one connection from support resistance. And then from here to here is another connection from support to resistance. Let me just highlight all the support to resistance. Uh, well, where the market really touches it, I I count this one. Sometimes it's not exactly like perfect, you know, where you can be like it touched it, but sometimes you just have to like this would be like a third time of it touching it, this area. So it'd be one, one time touching support resistance, two times touching support resistance, three times touching support resistance. So the thing about the market is normally it keeps a pattern. So it's a pattern based thing. So if the market does something two times, it's a higher chance that it's going to do again, especially since we've identified that the market had made a higher high and then it started to make a lower high. So this would be more of a reversal pattern, as in like not a pattern but a reversal, an indication of reversal, because as you can see, it made a higher high and then a lower high, and it just consolidated in this area. And as it's doing, as it did right here, it's doing right here again, it's consolidating. So we can identify that the market is in a downtrend. So we can look for sales at the coming of this month. um, I say this because, let me get rid of this really quickly. This, there's also a pattern right here. So this pattern would be called a double top. So a double top would be it comes up and then it goes back down. It goes up, it goes back down. Actually, it makes a support and resistance in its major support and resistance as well. So this would be its support, and then this would always still be the major resistance. And then as you can see, it goes up and it comes back down and then it goes back up to make an equal high. And the it normally when it does this, it comes back down to the support. So this is what you call a double top. A double top is when it makes an equal high, two equal highs in a direction. So it would look like this. Let me show you without. And then it would make a move like this. So let me draw it a little bit better. So a double top and a double bottom is a, well, is a market pattern. So I've already told you about uh head and shoulders, you know, and then this one. So there's the head and shoulders. Both head and shoulders. This the head and shoulders to indicate the downside. This the head and shoulders to indicate the upside trend. Um, and then this would be a double top because it normally has a continuation pattern, which would be not a, which would be either a lower high for a downtrend, or oh, let me just do this properly, or uh or a higher high for an uptrend. So it would look like this, do something like this. This is how, so these are the patterns that I normally use. So the head and shoulders um is a very consistent pattern I use, and the double top and double bottom is also one that I use. So let's go back to where I saw the double top, double bottom. So the market went up right here, consolidated very, very nicely, um, consolidated literally on the resistance, and then it broke down to the support again, and then went directly back up, making a actually right here making a double bottom to push to the upside. The double bottom is right here. So this would be the double bottom. Let me go into this a little bit more. Yeah. So the double bottom right here, as I said before, the market would come down, make a resistance or a support, either one depend on the trend it's reversing into, and then it will, did I click it? Okay. It will push up, and then it will come back down for a continuation as it does right here in this level, and then continue its way. So that would be a double top, I mean a double bottom. A double top would just be the opposite of this double bottom right here. So yeah, and right now, as I had told you before, um, the the first Friday of every month is called NFP week. So in NFP week, there's a lot of news. The market moves sporadically. There's a lot of market manipulation. So yeah, and at the end of the month, there's also market manipulation and sporadic movements. So that's why the market is still in this area consolidating, still in this area consolidating. It hasn't actually broken its own little support and resistance. And you can see that the market continues making its equal highs and not breaking through as of yet. So that is what we're waiting for, a break of the market structure, possibly a break of this area to the downside right down here. Would look something like this. And based on, you know, based on where the market is, we can also see that the market can also go even lower, and that is why there's a support, because you can also use your support and resistance as a take profit area. It's not only there to identify where the market has been, but it can also identify where the market is going to be. um and this is also the higher high. You would have to mark out a higher high as well, and a lower low. And this that is only because the market is still its own entity, and it can still go either way at the end of the day. So it's lower low. Yeah, and it is good to know where the market has been. That's why you do mark out its highest highs and its lowest lows. um so yeah, that is just some of the analyzation of GBP JPY. So as I said before, on the day chart, it is in a consolidated state at literally sitting on on its resistance. So making a double top. So it is potentially already is going to go back to its support into the 187, and that is a comfortable place for the GBP JPY to be sitting. Normally, it is normally a selling pair. It does buy, but it does sell more on the grander scale of things. So I say that because if you look at it its major moves. It came from the upside. It's been selling for decades now, but recently it has been on an uptrend as well. That is why this area right here is also a tricky area to be. Yeah, right here. See, double bottom, push to the upside, double bottom. But as you can see, it also did not break. So the market can just repeat what it did before and actually break even lower into the 110 areas. But it's not good to bet put all your eggs in the basket that it would break to that lower low. It's such a swing position. Not even focused on such a thing right now. But as I was saying, on the day, it does have a double top and it is pushing off resistance. It cannot, it's been, as you can see, all the wicks have been consolidated, rejecting from the 200 areas, and the the market has really been just very choppy, and it doesn't want to be up here as it's been indicating consolidations. And if you see this right here, this huge move off of one day that brought us to the back to the support compared to the amount of days it had taken it to get back up to the 200 areas, and still it did have an aggressive push away from it over the next few days, and it consolidated in this area because, as I said, it is the end of the month and the market does move a little bit weirder, and it's going to be the beginning of the month where there's more news to come. So with the more news to come, it could just push back down to the downside. That might be what happened on the upcoming Friday. So that is just a little bit of the analyzation of that. And as I said, these are a few patterns for you just to remember. These are a few patterns for you to remember. Well, just two, just in reverse as well. The head and shoulders, you can identify head and shoulders because it normally has equal highs. This is how you'd mark out the support and resistance for a head and shoulders, and then it breaks to the downside, and then same thing right here. You mark it out like this, and then you can see it makes, and then it breaks to the upside, and then for the double top double bottom it has to have equal highs, have a support and resistance. Good thing I don't have to mark that part out because based on how where it is right now, perfect, just like that. Support resistance, and this retest right here, this is what you call a retest. The market push to the downside, it comes back up, so that would be a retest. It comes back up, it could potentially come back a little bit higher, you know but that's depending on how you risk and how you want to manage the trade. You could literally get out here, wait for the retest to get back in up here, and then make more of it, more out of your money from right here, from this move, from this you take before the pullback, and then enter after the retest, and then you'll be out right here. That'd be two good trades out of um one pattern. You can do that a lot, as in, it's a very consistent pattern. These patterns I have found to be consistent in the market. um, right here, equal lows, it makes us resistance, support, and then it breaks through, it retests this area that it just broke, and then it pushes back up to its to the direction it was trying to go. So that's really it for the moment, and I hope it is helpful. And yeah, if you have any questions, just ask me, text me,